What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and with me tonight, it's our fallen soldier, the stats man, Chris Gorman. Hit with the stats, Chris.
Hey, the
Hey.
Minnesota men's professional sports teams since 1991 are 0-10 when it comes to the conference finals, meaning whether it's the Vikings, the Wild, the Twins, or the Minnesota Timberwolves, when they get to the conference finals since 1991, they lose. They do not advance. They do not pass go. They do not collect a chance at winning the trophy.
Oh, tough stat for the folks up north, but he's fouling up three. It's the lawn ball, Troy McCroskey. Get that, Joe.
One of us. I felt your pain last night when you were like, "Yeah, Wolves in 7 still." I was like, "Okay,
yeah."
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
I didn't have the heart. I was like, I appreciate it for going down with the ship, but
drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, I mean, we're going to talk a lot on this show. We're going to obviously talk about the Thunder wrapping that series up. We're going to talk about a little bit of Indiana Pacers Knicks, which is ongoing in Game 5. We may have a Game 6, who knows? And then we'll talk about potential matchups. But first, let's just go to Chris here. He was at games 4 and 5 or 3 and 4, correct?
Yeah, 3-4.
3-4. So you saw the beatdown in Game 3. You saw the tough loss in Game 4, and then, like as Joey alluded to there, the Wolves in 7. And I had the same kind of feeling where I was like, I think this is going to be a Thunder blowout in Game 5, and then it kind of happened. So give us your thoughts on the series overall, Minnesota this season, and kind of,
I'll start with my feelings going into Game 5.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought the Timberwolves had a chance.
Yes.
My thought process was they blew them out Game 3. They figured something out. Game 4 was a 2-point game, right? It should have been, maybe we'll get into the rule change or the rule adjustment they should have made 10 years ago. But I'm thinking, like, these last 2 games have been close. Why would this be a blowout? Like, and has anybody been watching these games? This is ridiculous. This is gonna be close. And then, sure enough, Jaden McDaniels goes 0 of 6 to start the game. No, misses a bunny layup like he's Rudy Gobert. Ant's already forcing it, and they scored 9 in the first, and it was over before.
That was
like Kason Wallace in that 3 to end the first quarter kind of sealed it, and then opening up the second was just, for anyone who still had any glimmering hope, it was shut down. So
Thunder stuffed out quick.
Yeah. And Game 5 and here before we get really into it, I want to involve you guys to Game 5. Yeah, it sounds like you guys are just like, this is gonna be over. Was this kind of what you expected? Or you're just kind of like, this is gonna,
If I was honest, if you would have asked me, like honestly, what do you think's gonna happen? Like, I was rooting, like, hey, let's see what they can do. Maybe this will be close, but I was like, I think Thunder's gonna spank them here, and I think this is all but done. Joey, how did you feel?
Yeah, I felt like the Thunder were gonna pub stomp them pretty bad.
Yeah.
What was the term you pub stomp?
Pub stomp.
Pub stomp.
Yeah, curb stomp, pub stomp.
Curb stomp.
Pub stomp. I think. Yeah, we can see. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a whole. The Game 3 Timberwolves blowout was. It seemed like the Thunder just took the night off. Like they just. I don't know if the Wolves figured something out as much as the Thunder just kind of took it off. Well,
desperation's a hell of a drug, man. You can't replicate 0-2 in your own barn. Like, you just can't replicate that energy.
And you can't replace Chris in the stands, hyped.
That's true.
Ready to go.
Yelling free throw merchant.
Yeah. He wasn't there.
That was my favorite thing.
He was there with a friend, right? Game 3.
Bola came. He came in town.
Nice.
So the vibe was different. Just already. Chris brought the energy. Game 3 and Game 4, he didn't have the same vibe. He wasn't his
What really helped with that game is that Perola he likes to gamble.
Yeah.
And he knows how to gamble in the state of Minnesota because he has like a bookie. And he took a parlay involving the Thunder to win straight up, which I told him, like, that's a bad omen.
Yeah.
I'm taking to this game. These tickets are not cheap.
Yeah.
Do it.
Thanks, bro.
He doubled down during the game, took him at plus 12.5 for the Thunder. Took him again, 2.5. Guy lost like $800 at least. More than double the price of the ticket.
Serves him right.
So
bad beat for your boy.
he just kept like, nah, they can't lose by 40. That'd be ridiculous. Lose by 42. So that, I guess that was a nice silver lining.
Yeah, you get to watch that happen.
my least favorite stat I think I saw after that game was that no team has ever won the title after losing 42 in a game. And it was like, well, the Warriors lost by 39 to the Grizzlies that one year.
Yeah.
And then they beat them the next day. And it's like, okay. And I knew, I'm like, once I see stats like that, I'm like, oh, they're just setting this up because they know that they're going to come back.
They're setting it up.
I kind of felt like the game 3 ending, which we can get into the rule change, right? But the way it ended kind of felt like that was the Timberwolves' chance in the sale. The win was sucked out of them when that
they had to
go
get
the way. Like they were as close as they could possibly be. They had it kind of going in that moment, and it just didn't click for them. And I felt like that was like the kick in the nuts that put them to bed.
Well, I think you. Well, go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say you were talking about with the 8 seconds left in game 4, right? When SGA misses his second free throw.
I'm talking 2 minutes left in that game.
Was it? Yeah, and it's just like, well, when there was 8 seconds, it's like, okay, they're down by 3. We're gonna get a chance here. They never got a chance, guys.
Yeah,
they never got a chance. How do we have this as a thing in the NBA? And then if you try to bring it up on the internet, it's just people like, oh, we know who's the Timberwolves fan. It's like, we just want basketball. Like, oh, it's a smart strategy. It's like, so was Hack-a-Shack, and we adjusted the rules so people stopped doing that as much.
I also I hate fouling up 3. I do got something else here before we can just get into it because we're here. But I hate fouling up 3. I think it's stupid. I get the mathematics of it, like you don't give them a chance at it. But when they fouled who's it, Ant the second time, there's 3 seconds left on the clock. He's bringing it up half court, and they foul him. Like,
oh, like they didn't wait.
Yeah, like
they did that against Denver, and that
like why stop the clock at that moment? That was the thing that bugs me. Like, yeah, he's crossing half court. There's 3 seconds left. There's a chance he hits a 3 to tie it. The worst case scenario is it sends it to overtime, right? You can't lose. I don't like the idea because the clock stops. He hits the first one, and then he has the chance to miss it and potentially put in a 2. And I get it. That's all very hard to do. I just kind of feel like playing it out often works. We saw that in the Indiana series where they didn't foul up 3. And they just played it out. And yeah, New York got 2 cracks at it, but they missed. And then it's like, all right, yeah, it's over. I just think the clock is your friend in that. And then those scenarios, I can't stand fouling up 3.
I guess the thought probably in that is if they decide to heave it from half court, you're giving them the 3 shots anyways. But I agree. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Not with like that much time left. I think it's like under 10 seconds. Just play it out. I mean, if you want to, if there's a lot of time left and you want to just like, all right, so they can't tie it up.
You're playing for the final shot kind of thing. Like you're playing for that final shot. You play it out. I mean,
you were pretty upset about it.
It ruined the entire experience of it. As a person who loves basketball and watches it all the time, like it completely ruined what should have been a really good game. I didn't want to watch Shea shoot free throws for 2.5 minutes. And I didn't want to watch them suck what would have been right. Minnesota had to foul Shea. They had to foul whoever, right? They had to foul whoever. That made sense. But I don't love to watch that. It makes sense. But I don't also need to watch the other team take away what should be the exciting moment, right?
Yeah. A possession
Right. I want to watch pure chaos, Ant come off 3 screens, DiVincenzo running baseline to baseline, and watch that shot go up and, lean out of the seat, off your couch as it's going up. And like, is it going to happen?
Yeah.
And then just to watch it.
To watch him have to. And then they had like the weird thing at the end where the fan like catches the ball and gives 1 second or 0.1 second left. And Shay's like, you're smart. You know what I mean? But like,
I just don't know how to like going into that. How did they not adjust the clock? Like it was pretty clear from the replay that they showed on TV. The fan caught the ball with 0.6 on the clock.
Yeah,
They put 0.3,
and they
right?
went from 0.1 to 0.3.
We don't know.
Like how?
Because that was, yeah.
How did that happen?
That was going on in the stadium.
I don't know. It was all confusing.
It was the ending of that game was weird. Like Chris was saying, he didn't really want to rehash it yesterday after it all happened, but it was really weird. And I think Joey, you were right to your point. Like it kind of that was the game Minnesota had to get to kind of stay competitive in this for some, and then they didn't, and you can see the frustration levels on them in Game 5.
It was a fantastic game.
Yeah, it was an awesome game.
And then we have that to end it. It was just like any TV show with just like, oh, you decided to go that way at the end.
Yeah,
like, what are we? That's how we want to ruin this show.
Well, it's just like Oklahoma City doesn't care that people didn't like it. Their fans don't care. Their fans are like, yeah, smart call, right? It makes sense. But like all the casuals in the NBA about being, minute to minute, second to second, points being scored, something exciting always happening. You took what was an extremely competitive, exciting game that was extremely important for the Timberwolves and would have changed the dynamic of the series.
Yeah.
And you sucked all the juice out of it and you eliminated the 47 minutes of good things that you could talk about and limited this game down to 1 minute of crap.
Yeah, this back and forth
is going to remember and hate.
Yeah, between two teams that were dueling, and it was a really good game.
It's a way to ruin your product. It's a way to turn people off from it, and it's a way to prove people to prove the people who don't care or don't like it that much. Just free throws.
Yeah, why do I watch free throws here at the end when So maybe they need to look at a rule change or something. Because I get it. It's the smart thing to do. You know what I mean? It was funny. I had at work, we had a shootout. We have a rim and we did a shootout event over for Memorial Day weekend. And long story short, there's like 2-pointers were like kind of the way to win the tournament. You had to shoot really close and make 2-pointers. But I could tell people didn't like it because it wasn't aesthetically pleasing when they would do it. So they would do it for the first part of their round and then step back and try to make 4-pointers and 5-pointers, and they were missing. And I was like, if you just stay there the whole time and hammer those twos, you'd win. But you don't want to do it because you feel stupid. And that's kind of like what OKC does. They do all the things that at Boston to some extent last year too. And then maybe the trend we're seeing here where these teams are just like math. This is the smart play, the right play. And sometimes like, we just want to see some dumb plays that are awesome sometimes too.
Yeah. I guess I don't want to specifically fault OKC for this.
No.
I think most teams in this situation would have done. There's very few coaches. I think Popovich probably wouldn't have done it. Yeah. I think like a Tibbs would, like the older school guys probably would have not done it. They would have lived and died with whatever happened. We've seen Tibbs do it, right? Like they've had multiple chances to do something.
Yeah, that's true.
Carlisle
he doesn't.
Do it.
Maybe that, but like nobody's talking about like, oh, you should have fouled him. It's like, no, you got by a guy who made a ridiculous shot, and you're going to live with that, and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I hope they address it at some level, just because it is a smart play. I think it's smart, it is a smart play to do the take, but to disincentivize them, whether it's making it a take foul, one free throw and ball or whatever. It's not even just because it's the Wolves; it's just because it's basketball.
Nobody wants to see
make it a different sport during the last 10 seconds.
The whole point
is like once the shot clock's off, you can't do it. Like if you want to do it with 45 seconds left, okay, fine. Like that's fine because you're not. Yeah, it's not changing. It's not deciding the outcome at that point. But like once you're under 24 seconds and whoever has the ball, shot clock's off. Like if you
there might still be cases where you would still want to do it with 45 seconds, like if you're up by 4, or 5, but
if you're doing it 20 seconds, 15 seconds, like it should be a free throw on the ball, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough too because then like how do you change it? But then are you like, are we seeing like a ton of replays of maybe an actual foul and then a team's kind of getting screwed because they're like, no, it's under 24 seconds, so now it's a shot in the ball, like when they're like, no, I was just trying to go for a steal and I fouled them. You know what I mean?
What's an intentional foul?
I think that's where it maybe gets a little bit of a gray area. Then you have to
I think it's just still a foul. Or Or it's
Yeah, because
still
if it's like any
shot-
foul,
or
then
a
I'm like,
shot
ooh,
ball.
that
Yeah.
kind of sucks because a team gambles for a steal and then hits a guy.
Or
It's
if they like try
they're-
to draw a
yeah.
foul, like if somebody just falls down,
Yeah,
I don't know who
exactly.
might try to fall down while driving through the paint in that
Yep.
kind of moment. But you know,
It'd be a
might
new
a few
skill.
people
You'd have like a, you
think
know,
of.
like a Alex Caruso would be like a fouling artist. You know, he would be able to like trick you that his intentional foul was going for a steal. He'd be like diving across a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that game I felt like was the determining factor. Like when that
when that happened,
I was like, yeah, this is
going into OKC where they were just kind of unstoppable. It seems like this playoff run. So yeah, but I do want to end on a happy note here for Minnesota because it was another great run, another conference finals appearance. Obviously, some off-season stuff in the in the mix here going forward. But Chris, I had a question for you. Where does like Game 3 for you rank in like sports moments, being there or something? Because like that had to be awesome.
That was a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's up there. It's so last year I was at the Denver Game 6 where a similar thing happened.
Yeah.
When the Timberwolves were down 3-2 and then they blew out Denver. And that was probably the number one, like Minnesota. Well, that actually the play-in win. So I put
so they go over to Minnesota,
the play-in win.
And then Game 3.
And then maybe this Thunder win. Because it gave me hope again, guys. And it's the hope that kills you. Right. It's like going into the series, I knew I'm like, no, the Thunder are gonna wipe them. And then you start to believe, you start to see them. The Thunder would go to 7 against Denver, and Minnesota looks, great in Game 3. So it's like, but anyways,
Game 3 certainly. I mean, it gave me pause where I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting." I mean, I thought for a second, like,
not nothing, right?
Yeah, 42 is not nothing, and I thought the Thunder kind of pulled up and were clearly like, "All right, they got this one," but I still think it's interesting when you have that kind of close game in Game 4. Yeah, it just kind of sucks to see it slip away real quick. So, but yeah, I was curious how that, because I'm like the energy in the building had to be awesome, especially the first kind of home game and in the conference finals again. You know what I mean?
And any game where I think that was the game where Rudy got that slam. Was that when Doris made the World War II comment?
Yes.
Yes. That was Game 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And anytime you see Rudy like make a coherent offensive basketball play, it's just like, oh, they're gonna win. This is fantastic. Like this is just gravy.
It's gravy.
By the way, the go without Gobert, Timberwolves would not have been in this situation. I've been seeing like posts of we gotta trade Gobert and all this, and it's like you need some kind of rim protector. You need a Chet, you need a Mitch, you need a Miles Turner.
Yeah.
You need somebody that can protect the rim down there. And without Gobert, we don't have anybody on the Timberwolves.
He's the easy scapegoat because when they lose bad, you look at a box score, it's easy to catch his stat line. But if you look through the whole season, that stat line is probably relatively consistent. It's not like
it was a lot better than the regular season.
Yeah, but it's not like he's blowing you off the page with his box score on a night-to-night basis.
If you watch the game, you realize Shea doesn't drive to the lane the same when Rudy's in compared to when Nas is in. There's a huge difference there, and it just can't be quantified on the box score.
What I was going to ask Chris is, what's your way to, or not even that early, but what's your in 4 weeks? What number one thing needs to change for the Timberwolves to get over the hump?
I don't know. I don't know.
You didn't have an angry thought.
That's a good.
This has to change right away.
And I was listening to their press conference, and they seemed happy. Like Finch, Edwards.
Yeah,
Edwards was asked a question of how does it feel to come so close to coming to the NBA Finals in back-to-back years, and he's like, yeah, it was exciting. It was really cool. And the reporters looking for him to be disappointed or bummed out. It's like, no, and Edwards like, I'm 23 years old.
Yeah.
And I've been to the conference finals twice already. And you can tell that drive. If he was 33, I was listening to LeBron's Mind Game podcast today, and he was talking about how the Game 5 in 2016 was we just got to win this. We got win this and then win Game 6 and 7. And I want Ant to go with that same kind of intensity. He's just not there yet. He's he's 10 years away from being like, we need this game, and because he's just a chill 23-year-old, incredibly talented young man.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the only thing, because I don't mind him saying like he's excited about it. I like that. I think that's how he should be. I think the thing that I felt maybe is a young man's view of it is he kind of was like, he seemed like he felt like he forget exactly how he said it. He said something about like, I have many more times to go or something like that. And I think that's kind of where the young mentality is. Oh yeah, well, next year we'll be here, and the year after that we'll be here. And it's like, man, sometimes those runs, they don't, it might be 5 years before you guys are in the conference finals again. You know what I mean? And you never know. And it's, it could be back next year and, break through. But that's the thing. I think a younger player thinks like, okay, well, we'll be back next year. An older LeBron knows, nah, man, I got to get it now.
Well, he's like, I got to get to LA.
Yeah.
And we got to win this championship in Cleveland now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But Joey, go back to your question. Where do they have to be in 4 weeks? Can they sign Randall to like a $23 million a year contract for like 3 years? That's what I'm hoping. The numbers maybe at like 70 for 3. I think it might be a little bit more. He's probably going to ask for like 30 a year. Nas had an awful playoff.
Yeah.
But like, he's 24. Can we? I don't know. I don't know what his. The reason I don't know is because these numbers. I don't know where. I don't understand where the cap is going to be at. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, I keep assuming is going to be gone. But there's probably teams out there that would want a 3-and-D wing, proven vet that can deliver in a playoff moment. But I love TJ. He looked great. U of I grad. And Jalen Clark had some moments. Rob Dillingham, if he can stay healthy, he could be he's supposed to be the point guard of the future. He's only 20, so future's bright, man. If you
yeah.
So I'm not
the one person I thought you would have mentioned was Mike Conley, because I feel like he should be getting some smoke for his playoff performance.
Well, that's why I'm hoping Rob can kind of step in more. And like Conley and Gobert should not average more than like 20 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Well, Gobert maybe like 25, but like Conley should still be like a ninth man maybe, but like he's entering that Joe Ingles territory where it's like he doesn't need to be like on the court that much, if at all.
It's fair.
Yes, you're thinking re-signing Randall, huh? Even after kind of the conference finals disappointment.
He looks so good. Like,
round
it's
1 and 2.
I don't know who's gonna want him, and I think we can get him back at a pretty solid number. Okay. Like, who wants an undersized big 4 that needs the ball besides the Bulls? I don't know. Like, besides like bad teams.
He's your Zach LaVine.
He's your Zach LaVine.
He's got a lot more money than he's worth. We're probably going to give it to him because nobody's going to really want him, and like he's kind of okay sometimes.
Well, I was listening to some pods today. I think Minnesota should play hardball with him. I think they're going to be it's going to be tight figuring out who they have to pay, and I think Nas is young enough. You want to pay those guys, but Randall's a guy I would be like, nah, man, it's X amount, and that's what we can do. And if you can't get that somewhere else, all right, or we can sign and trade you or something. But that's what I would think they need to maybe play football with. But
I keep hearing this is gonna be like we can get into more. I want to have some more pods about the offseason because it's supposed to be a crazy offseason. Shams was on something talking about how it's gonna be insane. I'm curious where KD ends up at.
That was the conversation.
Minnesota still. I don't even know if I'm that excited about it.
I was wondering how that would go for you.
I don't know. I have to think on it. I haven't really gone beyond, the playoff round yet, but we'll save some of it. There's some other stuff.
I think you had an initial angry thought off the rip that was like, God, I can't believe this happened, and they need to change it immediately.
Not really. Like Jaden McDaniels needs to get more consistent with his 3 ball. I hope he got better. Keep doing that. Be the next. What's gonna be fun is that like Ant and Jade and McDaniels are gonna be battling Shea and Jalen Williams.
Yep.
For like the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. And that's gonna be like a huge rivalry. Hopefully, the Timberwolves can keep that as a thing. So
that would be fun. Yes.
Do we want to talk about the Thunder in a positive about like Shea. How are you guys feeling about Shea? Is he the best, second best, third best player in the league? He's obviously better than Ant. People were saying like, oh, he's over. Is he better than Ant? It's like nobody was saying he wasn't better than Ant this whole time. But I have thoughts on Shea, but I want to hear from you guys first.
I think he's probably getting to maybe a solid number 3 in the league. I think right there behind Jokic and Giannis. Certainly, if he wins the title, as much as I think they do kind of annoy me at sometimes, I can't not respect OKC. I think they're a really, really amazing team. I mean, defensively, they looked ridiculous at times in that series. I love how they constructed the roster, and like they're set up for the next 5 or 6 years. If their draft picks, they keep that stash. They're like setting the template of how to build a team in this new, sort of apron era of building teams. But yeah,
Step one, trade an aging superstar for a future MVP and 6 first-round picks.
Yep, that's exactly.
Step 2, hit on one of those first-round picks, and then
draft. Be bad in one of those seasons when there's a good big man available and get him in the
a generational.
Right,
like
get
Chet,
a generational.
Chet was a 5-star,
yeah,
blue chip recruit, dude. Yeah,
and in most years he's a number 1 pick.
Yeah.
He was in the Wembanyama draft.
Well, he was in the Paulo draft.
Paulo drafts?
Oh, it's Paulo, Jabari,
he was rookie because he got hurt for his
right.
rookie season. So his rookie year was technically Wemby's season when they were.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. But Paulo was Duke and Chet was Gonzaga.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, we got to take the Duke guy. And
I mean,
Paulo's great as well.
Paulo's great. I don't think you can knock that. But no, I think. But that's like, I mean, it's why I'm always saying you have to get your shots in. You have to take the chance at it. But whatever. I'm not going to get in this soapbox again. But you have to be there.
Joey,
and they were there.
How do you feel about Shea? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, guys. If you're still.
No. We're good.
My hot take is he's James Harden with a better team around him. It's like Houston Harden with like a better team around him.
Harden never had an Alex Caruso. Who was his out? PJ Tucker, but he had to play the 5.
Like, and I say that as in like it's been building and like the scoring is there and everything, but like I feel like at some point teams are going to figure this out, or there's going to be a rule change that's going to kind of limit his ability to do some of the things that he does. It's like I admittedly didn't watch a ton of Thunder games throughout the regular season, but in the playoffs, watching, and it's like you can see the first like 7 or 8 minutes of the game, he's very determined in whatever their game plan is. Like everything is running through SGA, and it's against Minnesota, it was get him frustrated, get contact, get to the free throw line, get the foul counts up, and then kind of settle into getting everybody else involved and working it through. At some point, I feel like when you have these players that do that, like it's going to change. The only thing that maybe is different is like his ability to hit in the mid range, his ability to hit at all parts of the court.
Yeah, that's what he's
much better than James Harden. My only concern, like long term for him, is just does the league figure out how to play against him? And that probably doesn't hurt the Thunder. It probably hurts SGA's aura. It hurts his aura. But I think the Thunder, like you said, Titus, I think they're built for like a 4 or 5 year run because they're happy, they're young, they're cohesive, they're well coached. Like they've got everything that you need to kind of make a Warriors-esque type run.
Yeah. Spurs-esque, Warriors-esque.
And that's the scary part, is that the scary part is really how young they are. Like these guys aren't going anywhere anytime soon. None of them are going to be chasing big money contracts. And if they are, they're going to get them from home. They're not going to have to go elsewhere to probably get them because the Thunder haven't spent money.
It feels like, I think I was listening to some pods. I can't remember exactly where I heard this, but it feels like the 91 Bulls. It feels like the 2016 Warriors, where it's just this super young team that's got all the pieces, you know what I mean? As far as Chet, Jalen, and Shea, like, all right, we got him there. You got the superstar, you got the Robin, and then you got the guy in the middle. a la Michael, Scotty, and Horace, or Draymond, Clay, and Steph. Like it's all there. Like I said, coaching, and then the contracts should start lining up where, all right, you pay those core guys, and then you fill in around them if they continue to develop at this pace. I don't think they're going to win, 4 out of 5 or something like like those teams did. But could they be in in the next 5 conference finals? Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could see him winning 65 plus games for the next 4 seasons without that blinking an eye.
Like a early 2000s Pistons kind of team where they're just there. You know what I mean? And maybe they only break through 1 or 2 twice. But they're going to be there for sure.
The craziest thing with this Thunder team is they won 68, and Chet was out for like 30 games. Hartenstein was out. They weren't like not hurt all year, right? They had a lot of injuries.
They're gonna be good.
I hope Shea, like there's a I just hope Shea like doesn't he's gonna become hated. He already is.
Yeah.
I just hope he kind of gets away a little bit more from I know he's not going to get away from it though. He's going to look to draw the foul. He's going to look to get the elbow and shoot it. I mean, he elbowed his cousin in the neck, right? And the ref's just like, yeah, it's fine.
Yes,
But it's just a part. Yeah,
I think rule change wise, there needs to be a conversation about the hook thing he does, where he hooks under the arm and holds the defender to cause and that's just not just Shea. A lot of guys do this.
Yeah, Trey in the league does that a bunch.
So the NBA just needs to look at that at that, just like the rip through move where you go, all right, hey, we're not calling this, or we're calling it an offensive foul. And I think then you can start eliminating that stuff. I do think he does get fouled a lot. He goes to the basket. But he gets calls for sure. I think to Joey's point, he's a 3-level scorer and a mid-range guy. I think he's kind of proving some of like the math guys a little bit wrong in the playoffs. Sometimes you just need to get a bucket, and Shea can get a bucket. That's like the thing that I like about him, where like, let's say Tatum, if he couldn't get to the basket, he was just forcing up a 3. And at no point was just trying to like, all right, I'm going to back my guy down for a second, shake him, create a little bit of space, and hit this 17-footer because right now my team needs a bucket. And I think that's something that Shea is doing that I don't think a lot of people are doing, because it's, when you look at the math of it, they're like, oh, that's not what we should be doing. That's not the best shot. And sometimes in the playoffs.
It's so funny you say that. I thought Tatum used to be a mid-range guy.
He used to be.
And like the Boston took that out of him by like showing him the numbers, like, hey, 3 is worth more than 2, blah, 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 blah. But I like, to your point, Titus, like there's a few guys in the league, Chris Paul, DeMar DeRozan, LeBron. Like, there's a lot of like the mid-range works very, very well. And I think that should make a comeback, especially with Shea.
Yeah.
That's what I hope the mid-range comes back because of Shea. I hope the falling down thing doesn't, make more of a comeback because of Shea.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how the finals go, regardless of who's in there.
Yeah, I mean, so we're no game talk, but it's looking like New York's gonna.
Hey, Pacers in 6.
I got one more piece of trivia for you guys.
All right, one piece of
trivia. Maybe you saw this, but there are 4 teams in NBA history that have reached 80 wins before the NBA Finals.
Okay.
The Thunder last night became one of them.
Yeah,
Can you name the other 3 teams?
The Warriors, the 73 win Warriors.
So 15-16 Warriors.
15-16 Warriors. Got to be the 96 Bulls.
Which 96?
96, 97, right? When they were 72,
Yeah.
And
the Suns.
Is it
the 95-96 Bulls?
Oh, 95-96. Wow.
Well, both Bulls?
Both Bulls.
The 95-96, and then 96-97, 15-16 Warriors. So the Thunder are the 4th team in NBA history to reach 80 wins before NBA Finals.
Wow. But just reference both those teams.
Means they won 68 games, and then...
I thought of that sex. I saw it earlier when you were talking about, the Bulls and they're being young and having the right pieces in it. The Warriors having Steph, Clay, and Draymond. And I was like, well, actually, that's fitting because they're in that company.
Yeah, they're in that company, which I think is even kind of crazy to think about that. I mean, dude, super early. You don't bring up those teams without, a little bit of respect, but it's the potential's there. So
yeah, no game talk, but are we feeling pretty confident in Oklahoma City against either of these teams?
Yeah.
Especially the Knicks.
Yeah.
I want to believe that the Pacers can do it, but I keep thinking about like the 2001 Nets or the 20. What was the Reggie Miller Pacers? Was that 2002? 1998?
That was 2002. Yeah.
Right, and like it was Miller's kind of like, so it's another Pacers team. It's like it's just one of those teams. It's like, is this team really that good? It's cool that they made it here, but like,
are they supposed to be in the finals?
Yeah. Like this was, it's kind of like that March Madness team, that 9th seed that like, oh, they're in the championship game now. Like,
Okay.
It was fun in the Elite Eight, but like they're supposed to lose.
Supposed to lose eventually. First weekend, fine, but this is crazy. No, I agree with you guys. I think now, especially now too with Boston was out. Boston was the one team I kind of held out hope, but even it was a real, like a 2% hope that they could beat OKC. But now without them, and then them getting through the Western Conference, I thought those last two stops they had, Minnesota and Denver, were going to be their two biggest challenges. And they went 7 with Denver, but even still, that was a pretty, they still won that comfortably, kind of, I guess, in game 7. But
yeah.
Now I think it should be.
If it's Indy, I could see Indiana winning like game 1.
Yeah,
and just like a surprise kind of factor.
Yeah,
like these guys play quick when they're like hitting on all cylinders. Like 130 points is nothing for them. But then Oklahoma City just realizing like, hey, we can also score 130 without trying, and our defense is much better than yours. So
yeah, I'm gonna talk myself into the Pacers. I'm gonna be like, Pascal's got the experience. These guys are.
I would love to do it. Let's do it.
They're, we'll talk. The playoffs start next Thursday, so I figured next week's pod we'll just preview.
Preview. Yeah, perfect.
And the Pacers, they got some guys, and the Knicks are a similar logic where they're, another old, because the Thunder are young, and game 1 again, 7 free throw attempts in 5 minutes is unbelievable. But they looked, fragile in the beginning of that game, and then they settled in, and those 22-year-olds just scraped around and turned the ball over, or made the other team force turnovers like nobody else has ever seen in the league before. It feels like what they're doing is crazy with Dort and Caruso and all that.
Those guys are just everywhere, man. Yeah, I don't think there's much of a matchup left. I will be rooting for Indiana if Indiana gets there. I've kind of I like them. They're my favorite team left.
Halliburton has increased his likability miles this offseason.
I like him.
Shea has decreased his, right? You've got these two competing guys. It's like one guy who's become very, very, very likable. The other guy has become like a hated villain.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear Windhorse talk about Halliburton?
That he's
Karl Anthony Towns
Urkel,
and like
high-waisted.
They're high-waisted. I never heard that before.
Yeah.
Because of the Urkel thing, right? That was hilarious.
The Urkel clip
it makes so much sense because I'm watching every time I watch Halliburton, I'm like, he's got a weird shot release too.
Yeah. He's goofy.
And he's just a weird looking dude, and but he's 6'5", like he's a tall point guard.
Yeah,
he can pass the ball.
I'm looking at it right now, and I can't unsee it now.
The high waist.
Oh yeah, it's crazy high.
Yeah, dude.
Never
went like 2/3 up there, man. What is going on?
It explains Cat too.
Yeah,
on a lot where he's got like a really awkward like disposition. He's
another one. He just looks.
You don't understand your hand movements sometimes.
He just is goofy. It's not just his waist.
Yeah, that's a Cat. Yeah, I don't.
I got a hot take. I actually want to throw at you guys.
Yeah, go for it.
Based off of the Knicks Pacers playoff series, should the Knicks trade Brunson and build around Cat? Because the on-off stats with Brunson are insane. It's like plus 18 him off, minus 11 on.
Well, he's terrible at defense. So
yeah,
He's really
a huge liability.
He's worse than Luka at defensive.
Yeah.
But because
He's got
he
no
scores,
size.
but because nobody else on the team can score when he's on the floor, he doesn't get shit on for it.
Because he's hogging the ball for 16. No one's liking Jalen Brunson anymore. It's completely turned on him.
The ship has turned there a little bit.
I think because the spotlight's on him.
Yeah.
Chris, that's like one of those, it's a smart move. Like, be the year ahead of it.
Right.
You go, hey, look, we got to do something. Because I think if they lose this series, I think something big's going to happen. It's going to, they're firing Tibbs, or something. But I think the move would be, hey, you know what? Brunson wasn't that good in the playoffs. We can get a bunch for him. Let's see what we can get. Let's push all. I mean, I don't know who you would go get, but
let's just
and then imagine then keeping Towns. Like the city of New York might burn because like they still make fun of Towns even though he's killing.
What if
like,
they did it for Giannis? What if they were like Brunson?
Okay, well then of
Giannis,
course it's fine. Don't stop that. No, don't do that. What if
Brunson
they get
Giannis? Who says
the second
no?
best player in the league?
Brunson for Giannis, who says no?
But some Brunson, man, he's just
Yeah, Jalen Brunson says no. I don't want to go to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. He's a New York legend, so I don't think they would. I think it'd be on the par of trading Luka, I guess, but not quite.
After Luka got traded, all bets are off, man.
All bets are off.
Why?
Trade Brunson. Why not?
And I like Jalen Brunson. I wish he was on the Bulls. Joey was right about that. It was like 3 years ago. You said he should have signed him.
More than that now. It was the first year. It was the first year of Lonzo. So
it was the first year of Lonzo. Oh gosh.
Yeah, because they went the same offseason.
Yeah. Yeah, you were like you should have done Brunson instead of Lonzo.
Yeah, I wanted Brunson before he went, and then the Bulls went and got Lonzo. Yeah,
looked like a great move for 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure did.
Today of DeMar DeRozan talking about it. Love that algorithm.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. All right. Anything else tonight? I mean, I guess we're gonna be wait and see. But it looks like we're getting a game 6. So
one last thing. Yeah. In the round table, Titus, you picked up 2 more points last night.
Oh, nice.
With the Thunder being the West champ and SGA winning West MVP. So kudos to you. You now have 4 total points this year.
How many you got?
I've got 6, potential for 7.
Oh, okay.
Your potential max is 5 if Brunson ends up winning East MVP.
Oh. Let's go
Chris,
Knicks.
Chris, you have 0 points. You're hanging on for hope here. You need the Knicks to win the East to get any points at all this season.
Okay, it's over. Who'd I go heavy on this year?
I don't. You were pretty spread out.
Was I? Okay.
Yeah,
you had the Timberwolves.
You had the Timberwolves and some of the big, West champ. You doubled down with
the belief.
Ant as West MVP.
The belief got you.
You thought they could win the NBA Cup as well.
Bases.
I still stand by that one.
Yeah,
I stand by that. Man. All right. One last question though: should the Wolves have kept Cat?
For the sake of this year,
I don't think it would make a difference.
Dante DiVincenzo, I saw a stat that he was the worst, efficient box plus minus contributor in the playoffs so far with like a -5. I didn't understand what the stat. It's such a crazy advanced stat. He's one of the worst in the league, and it's just like God. But Julius was a lot of fun.
I don't know. And he disappeared.
Cat wouldn't have mattered in the finals. He would have had 5 fouls in the first quarter on Shea. Let's be honest.
Possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, damn it, I can't even argue it. Yeah.
He would have.
I just wonder, I don't know. That's just one of those ones. But
I'm happy for Cat.
Yeah, Cat. He's got his spot up there in New York. He's sticking his tongue out and holding 3 fingers out. It's fine.
That's right. He's got it all going. He's got the mojo.
Man, when he does that, I'm just come on, man.
He's got all the swag.
Tighten up, man.
He is tight. Maybe not anymore.
He's phrasing. We'll move on. All right. Anything else tonight, boys, or we'll just get ready for next week's finals previews?
Finals.
Yeah, Chris is just like, let's just move on to the finals. Watch it.
Well, you got to watch your team longer than most of us, so congrats.
Yeah. I know. I can't be too upset. It's just
quit bitching, all right? You want to trade?
No, man. I would still say it's way worse to get close. I would, if you're talking about what hurts the most.
It's not.
No,
you are the worst.
Me?
You are the worst fan in the history.
I would rather lose in the playing game in the Western Conference Finals.
You are the fucking worst fan of all.
What Chris is going through is brutal, man. I would never be happy about that.
Your team should be terrible.
Or they should be awesome.
Be terrible, or they should lose in the play-in because getting close sucks. What the fuck are you talking?
It sucks way worse. It sucks way worse, man. I'm just saying it hurts worse. A play-in loss is you can just go, hey, they were never that good anyway. Whatever.
Yeah, but they should have been in the play-in because they should have
been in the lottery. Why were we in the play-in?
In the lottery here, they should have been a contender. So can't bother.
So, yeah, but it's tough. It's tougher to lose back to back at the conference.
I would have rather been the Timberwolves and had the glory of blowing them out in one game and creating the hope. That's why I said one of us, Chris. I'm with you. I understand it.
It's true.
He loves the hope. I love the hardware. That's fine.
Yeah, how'd that work out this year?
Yeah, it didn't work out great at all.
Okay. All right, cool.
Could have lost one more game and we could have had whatever. It's fine. We didn't even
with the Celtics.
Oh, the Celtics. Yeah, hey, Tatum got hurt. If he doesn't blow his Achilles, who knows?
Yeah, you're right. Everything changes.
Everything changes. You never know. Okay, no, they were losing that series regardless. I think what makes me more mad. Sorry, we'll do one last thing and then we'll go.
Yeah, well, no, keep going.
Watch. So this is talk about like a fan thing. So because I was gonna bring this up, like, all right, Chris, are you kind of rooting for OKC to win it because then you're like, hey, we lost to the champs, right? Or do you want to see them go down? Because like to me, I as a Boston guy, I'm like, you guys couldn't beat these guys. These guys are getting blown out by Urkel and the Pacers here, and you couldn't even get 2 games off them, man. Come on.
I respected Dallas the way they beat Minnesota last year, and I root for Dallas in the finals. I don't really respect the way the Thunder beat them, even though it wasn't a better way. It's just the way that Shea gets some of his fouls.
Yeah,
I know he doesn't get them a lot. The number. Look at the numbers. It's like, watch the game.
Richard Jefferson
sticks in your.
I know, and Richard, he watches the game. I don't understand.
Yeah, he's
just
waiting for fouls, man, guys. Yeah, it's okay to say this.
To play anyways.
Yeah,
I don't respect it as much, so I just want whoever's going to beat that horseshit of a play style.
No Caruso love for you, because I will admit the Caruso part.
I love Caruso. I don't love him enough to
override. Yeah, the shade.
I love enough to take his entire team. I feel it.
You're like, I hope they lose and Caruso wins MVP.
There you go.
Basically, yeah.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Perfect scenario.
Great. This is Dream Finals for Chris. Well, that is it for us tonight. Follow us on social media at the Box Out Voice. Slide in those DMs. Follow us on TikTok, man. We're blasting out the shorts and the talks. So
getting the views,
getting the views comments, up. Yeah, thank
some
you guys
positive,
some positive, some
negative.
Some not,
that's sports talk.
Negative comment.
That's sports talk, though. That's what drives the engagement.
We don't care.
My wife watching that saying, "These people are saying what about you guys?" It's like, yeah, it's pretty funny. So be sure to subscribe and review and comment on our TikToks, please. On YouTube and Spotify, we very much appreciate that. So until next time, guys, box out.